My name is Michael Speck. I'm the supervisor of the town of Ramapo. I have with me to my right, I have Chief Brad WEIDEL, who is the chief of the Ramapo Police Department, and we have State Senator David Carlucci, Chief Barbera from the Sheriff's Department, Michael Westman, County Councilman Evan Bernstein from the Anti-Defamation League, County Executive Ed Gay, Executive Assistant District Attorney Rich Moran, County Legislator Tony Earl, and David Wanunu, Town of Ramapo Councilman. We called this press conference due to the horrific crime that occurred at approximately 5:40 this morning in Monsey. At that time, a 30-year-old man who was a town resident was walking to synagogue on Howard Drive in the hamlet of Monsey in the town of Ramapo, and he was brutally attacked and stabbed by one or more perpetrators. He was very critically wounded. An ambulance was called. At first, the belief was that he was the victim of a car accident, and then upon arriving, they realized that he had been the victim of a stabbing or slashing. The victim is currently undergoing surgery at Westchester Medical Center. His condition is critical, and all of our thoughts are with him and his family at this time, and we're wishing him a full and complete recovery. I have full confidence that our outstanding police department will not stop until they have done their utmost to bring the person or persons responsible for this heinous crime to justice. We've had offers of help from multiple other agencies and jurisdictions throughout the county and beyond, offering assistance in this investigation. And at this time, I'd just like to thank everyone who has helped. In a moment, I'm going to turn this over to Chief WEIDEL to give some further information about what we know at this point about this crime. There's been speculation as to the incidents, the identity of the victim or the perpetrators or motive on social media and otherwise. At this point, the chief will tell you what the actual facts are. We would ask people not to engage in speculation. If anyone has given unauthorized press statements or conferences that did not come or was not authorized by either myself or the police chief or anyone on behalf of the town or its law enforcement agency. The town of Ramapo is one of the safest towns in the United States. We're committed to keeping it that way. We are committed to ensuring the safety of every resident of our entire community. Until further notice, there will be additional and enhanced police patrols throughout the area to ensure the public safety. And at this time, I will turn the microphone over to Chief WEIDEL.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. So the supervisor covered most of the critical points of the investigation as it stands right now. I'd like to reiterate our thanks to our partners on the local, county, and state level for their offers of assistance in this investigation. This is obviously a massive investigation for our agency, and I would like to just say this, that I feel that our department is certainly capable, as any department is, of solving a case such as this with help from others, and we're not going to shy away from getting that assistance. It's a very difficult time right now because much of the information that we are working with, I just am not in a position to share because we do not want to compromise anything we're doing. And as the supervisor alluded to, there's a lot of information being pushed out in the community that, although some of it may be accurate, it's not necessarily verified, and it's not necessarily related to the actual incident. So speculation is one thing that we and the police department will not engage in this case. As the supervisor said, this initially started with a report of a pedestrian struck by a car, and obviously when our officers got to the scene, it was quickly realized that it was in fact an assault, and a very violent and vicious one at that. Our victim, what I could tell you was he was walking to the synagogue on Howard Place, and he was approached from behind by at least one or maybe more individuals, and he was assaulted and stabbed more than once. I don't know what kind of weapon was used, and I don't have recovery of a weapon at this time. One of the things that there's been a lot of questions on behalf of the community and representatives is about the status of this as a hate crime. And what I will tell you is At this point, as we stand here right at this moment in time and speak, I am not willing to say that this is a hate crime. That doesn't mean that it won't be established through investigation that it was in fact a hate crime. But we must be very prudent and deliberate in our investigation, and we must fulfill the statutory requirements of the Penal Code, Section 48505. And what I would specifically say to you is, if you look at 48505 subsection 2, it clearly indicates that simply because we have proof of somebody's religious belief or perceptions, that in and of itself does not necessarily mean we have a hate crime. We have to establish motivation and intent, and we're just not there yet, is what I'm saying. We are doing everything that we can. Our detectives working with other agencies, they're not here now. They're out working this case very hard. I am greatly appreciative of the support of the community in this case and community organizations. I want to specifically call out Aron for helping our organization, meaning our department, in working within the community to try to obtain different pieces of evidence. Obviously, one of the things we'd be looking for would be video. And I would ask that anybody from the community or anybody in the town who has any information or anything that they would like to share with us, or those who are reporting firsthand information without reporting it to us, are encouraged to come to the police and share with us what they're saying to others. It's really important in a case like this to keep the community informed about the facts without unnecessarily indicating things and without saying things with no basis. And that's what we're going to do very hard on our part to prevent. That being said, after the press conference today, through our Facebook page, we will continue to push out reliable information as we feel it's appropriate to release. And I think at this point I'm going to turn it over to, I'm not sure who's going to speak next, probably the county executive or the state senator, Carlucci. I'm not sure. I'll let you guys decide. But I appreciate your time very much, and I'll be off to the side for any questions maybe later.
Good afternoon. First of all, I want to make one thing clear. As a former police commander, I'm well aware of the capabilities of the Ramapo Police Department and also all the agencies that will help Ramapo PD in getting to the bottom of this, and they will get to the bottom of this. Chief WEIDEL's counsel is intelligent and smart. He does not compromise any integrity on anybody's part, but it's critically important that they be given the time and the effort to find out exactly what occurred and why it occurred, and then they will go from there. As a county executive, I would just say this: one incident does not define a community. It is critically important also to understand that this gentleman is going through a lot of pain right now, as is his family. It is something that the people of Rockland join in to basically say in one voice that we will not tolerate violence of this nature in any quarter of our county. We condemn it in its loudest terms. So I just want to offer my thoughts and prayers right now for the family, that he pull through this, get better, and also that that the department have all the tools necessary to get to the bottom of this, so we can have a full and complete prosecution of whoever people were involved in this heinous crime. Thank you.
Thank you. Elected. So the EDL, is a national organization. We are certainly not here on the ground daily in this part of New York, but we represent all of New York, and we are here to support the Jewish community as much as possible. There are many wonderful Jewish leaders here from this community who can also speak. I think for us, speaking on behalf of the overall Jewish community that's seen a tremendous uptick in anti-Semitism, and we know that this act has not been defined yet as a bias act, but the fact that we've seen so many unfortunate acts of hate and attacks towards the Orthodox community here in New York, especially in New York City, it makes us take pause when something like this happens. And that is why we want to help law enforcement as much as possible. We're going to be offering a $10,000 reward for any information that can help with the arrest of the person involved or persons involved in this horrific act towards this individual. But again, What the community right now is going through here is in the fear, unfortunately, that a lot of the Jews are feeling right now across this country, specifically the Orthodox population, those that are openly Jewish, is very palpable and very real, and I think needs to be well understood, because this is not, this incident has not been defined. There's been very similar types of assaults and incidents that have taken place, and that fear and the climate has certainly changed, and we need to be aware of that. Thank you.
We need, Chief, that we shouldn't speculate. We should only talk about the facts and what happened. And that's very important. So let's talk about the facts. I'm glad that the media picked up. We don't have fake news in the town of Ramapo, and they do pick up on things happening here. Currently was an election. Regular folks in Rockland County have put out lawn signs and yard signs that said the following. You're not going to believe it, for those who were not in Rockland County. Beat the block. Those signs are probably still out there on people's lawns. I'll speak about the facts. The facts are that Orthodox religious Jews in Rockland County have fear, real angst. They fear walking on the streets at times. They fear walking in the shopping malls. That's a fact. How do I know that? Because they're my people. I live amongst themselves. They are my friends, family, wife, and children, and grandchildren. Let's talk about the facts. The facts are that there has been, for a few years since a certain elected official got elected in Rockland County, a systematic hate social media campaign where comments appear as following: those people, they are parasites, and so on and so forth, alluding to the Orthodox Jewish community in Rockland County. So we are so glad that the media is out here, and they're out here for a reason. There are, unfortunately, in our country, many stabbings, many crimes, but we have the media out here in the town of Ramapo on a Wednesday afternoon because an Orthodox Jewish person was attacked, and that's a fact too. Again, I hope and I pray that this individual will make a speedy recovery, come back home to his wife and family, and things will get better, and he will be the last person being attacked in the town of Ramapo. Thank you very much.
So can we get your name?
My name is Aron Wieder, A-R-O-N, W-I-E-D-E.
What was your own personal reaction when you heard the news of what happened to you? Don't mind sharing.
2 words. Fear. It started. Those were the 2 things that came into my mind. I might be wrong. Hopefully I am. But those were the 2 things that literally entered in my mind when I got the first text message from law enforcement. Was fear, and then, oh my, it started.
Loud and clear. That's my message, and that's the message of the men and women of this department, and the men and women of the Sheriff's Department, and all the other police agencies that serve this community here. We are doing everything we can to reassure them and work with them. We're providing extra patrols. There's a lot of different ways that we can assist the community, and we're doing that. But I definitely hear them, and I just would say to the community is we're doing everything we can. We need the community to call us. If there's something that doesn't seem right or doesn't look right, they shouldn't hesitate. They should call right away, and we will do everything we can. You know, time works against us. So in these cases, if somebody sees something, whether it's related to this or any crime, potential crime, we need them to pick up the phone and call us right away. and they shouldn't wait. They should be reassured that we will respond and do the best job we can to keep them safe. Okay?
Chief,
Thank you.
one
Yes,
final
last
follow-up.
question, sir.
Chief, you said the call came in initially as a pedestrian struck. Do you know if the department got one phone call, multiple phone calls, and did the person stick around and make the call, and was it made from the scene?
There's a lot of questions there.
Sorry. That's why
Okay, I don't, so I do not know how many calls we received. It may have in fact been only that call. We are trying to verify if we received any other calls, and if any other agencies received any calls. So that, what was the other part of your question?
Well, you're still trying to figure that out. Was
Right.
it from someone, do you know right now if it was made from the scene? Was someone driving by and saw